Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to another Phase Live session. I'm joined by my co-hosts here, Chris and Gotto, and of course, we have the legend Vibhu on today. Very stoked to have you here, brother. How you doing?
I'm good. We get to pretend like we weren't just talking like 2 minutes ago.
It's always the best.
What's going on?
But no, for real, really excited to have you here, man. Obviously, know you do a lot of these things, so I think today we'll have some cool questions and just the general kind of stuff. But I think we can have a little bit of fun as well. It's obviously been quite an interesting couple of weeks in the market. Things are looking a little bit more excitable at the moment, which is nice. And that always just means a lot more fun on Solana for everyone. So, yeah, Chris, how are you doing? Gotto, how are you doing? Give us a little bit of an intro there, and then we'll move on to some questions.
Doing good, yeah, man. It's finally starting to cool down. It's been like we've had a crazy heat wave here in South Africa. 51 degrees Celsius the other day. I don't know what's that in Fahrenheit, Seb.
Right?
It's hectic. 50 degrees, 51 is 123 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Oh my
Jeez.
god.
So the hottest day ever. Yeah, but it was the hottest day ever recorded in South Africa ever by far.
Yeah.
Chris does live in a place we call like Hell's, I don't know, basin. Like it gets insanely hot. Yeah, exactly. It gets extremely hot there in Paul. So I think Gotto's on the opposite side of the spectrum there in Canada, right?
I was just gonna say, yeah, it's a complete opposite, dude. I'm in Canada, so it's cold as shit. It's been raining for like a week straight. So enjoy that, bro.
Thank you. I will.
And Vibhu, how's it out that side?
Good, man.
How's the weather?
Yeah.
Looks pretty damn good.
Nice.
No, it went from like 90 degrees this weekend to like 40 degrees Fahrenheit yesterday. Celsius, that's like 40 degrees to like 5 degrees in like between one day. It's actually cold outside right now in Austin for some reason, but
yeah, it's the same in Texas. I mean, I'm not that far from you, but it's going to be a great stream when we start off talking about the weather, right? Because that's the best topic in the world. But yeah, I mean, I guess we can kind of start getting into it. I mean, like I said, it's been kind of an interesting, time in the space. And obviously, Vibhu, you've been around for a very long time. You're somewhat of a legend. There are countless memes on the timeline that you take in your stride, which I think is awesome. Since I shared that nice little Karen meme there. But how's things been at Solana the last couple of months? I know that you obviously moved from, more from helping with marketing to kind of product. So how's that transition been, over the last few weeks?
yeah, I'm still doing marketing. I'm still managing the marketing team, but the product team is like more new. I don't know. It's been interesting. It's been fun. I don't really see myself as a marketing person per se. And the Solana marketing team is very competent, so they need very little help from me. On the other side, products is basically brand new and love new stuff. And it's allowing me to use a different part of my brain, which keeps me young and alive.
That's always good, staying alive. No, I mean, in any way, the marketing has been pretty fantastic. And I think, obviously sometimes like maybe not coming specifically from like a marketing standpoint, or like, as you say, it's not really your thing. I think that kind of helps you, especially in this space, maybe in crypto, because you look at it from a different angle, and marketing does need to be looked at from a different angle, like in crypto generally compared to Web 2, right? So I think that can kind of be a superpower in a weird way. And I think just watching you work and the things that you've done, I think you take kind of like it's like kind of a good mix of logical and also creative. I think that's like I don't know if you'd agree with that, but it's like, it feels like you don't overthink things too much. You're like, hey, this is kind of like what's happening. Like this makes sense. Let's roll with this. Right.
I like to think that I'm pretty practical. Like I don't think of myself as a marketing person, but I'm very much like a first principles thinker. So, and I'm a fast learner. So if you throw me into something new, I can try to reason from the very beginning. And I'm actually like I'm not even sure like what marketing is sometimes, because like especially in crypto, it's you can't just like put your logo on like a F1 car and call it a day. Like, I mean, you can if you're an exchange, but if you're like a blockchain, like it's not like people like onboard into Solana who are like, oh, I want to use Solana, and then like they go to do like like they come in for some other reason. So I do think like the art of marketing in crypto is like really unlike any other marketing in the world.
For sure.
But I do enjoy the creative side of it, and as you know, like we've done a lot of creative things with Solana over the last year, and we like to have a good time.
I think that's a nice little segue. Just because I found this very interesting, right? It's the kind of extension of the Solana Twitter accounts, right, into like luminaries and then tokens, for instance. Like, how did that kind of come about, and what was the kind of thought process behind like, hey, let's split this up across a few accounts as opposed to having them all on one account? Like, I assume some additional freedom also allows you guys to be a little bit more creative in specific areas and not kind of have to worry about putting stuff out on like the main big account with like millions of followers.
I mean, that was a strategy that we started pursuing last year. Before I joined the foundation, we had Solana devs and we had an events account. Now we have, we started with capital markets. Then we added luminaries. We added X402. We added Solana payments. And then yesterday we debuted tokens. It was, I think my feeling, at least at the time, was like we were struggling to speak to all of the different constituents of the network at the same time. And, I mean, we start with cap markets and luminaries because these are like the two opposite sides of our community. Like Solana has like a very strong institutional presence. We also have a community and like a meme culture that exists. And like we try to bring those two together in the same space. It's sometimes tricky to get the messaging right, but also there's not enough time. Like we can't be tweeting every 3 seconds on the account. So it gave us a bit more like diversity and of voices and a little space for us to like talk about different things. I think that's kind of because that worked pretty well, we kind of kept going like, well, maybe we can create mind share in a whole bunch of different categories, build a distinct audience there, and most importantly, give our ecosystem teams more places where they can be amplified. You and I have had a conversation about this. Like the Solana marketing experience, if you work on the team, is basically like being DDoSed all day by folks who want you to retweet or amplify what they're doing. Now it's much easier because we do want to bring new eyeballs to as many things as possible that are happening on Solana, but now we can pick and choose which account this might make sense for. I don't know, like I think it's gone exactly the way we hoped. Like it's gone very well.
I think I like that you bring that up because I feel like it's from a personal note. If we ever send anything to you guys to be like, hey, could you support on this? It's always a very much like, okay, does this make sense? Does this actually like, put a spotlight on Solana itself? And I think, like you said, and for anyone out there, maybe like when maybe messaging people in the team, like really think about those questions. Like, is it specific? Is it going to actually be like, something that makes sense on any of those counts? Because I think at the same time, right, like the value you guys bring is obviously huge to new teams in the space. But there also has to be an understanding that it's like you don't want to you don't want to push so hard that you become almost like it becomes more of a nuisance, right? Like everyone wants to succeed.
Well, it's okay, Yeah. Well, I would just say these are the Solana accounts, and as much as they are about sending people to different apps, it's even more so about us telling the story of Solana in different ways. And so, the evaluation for any amplification is less like, would this be good for you? Because I think usually it would be. It's more, is this good for Solana? And is it good for, does it tell a story that about the chain in a way that we want to? So, I don't like it's, and like the main account we use kind of now a little differently in the past because we're using these sub accounts to kind of like stage different things and we will amplify the best of. And then we have like some primary focuses, like we're very focused on AI. So like if you're building an AI, you're getting a lot of attention from main right now. but that changes like with the times.
That's a good strategy.
A lot of inside baseball, but that's how it works.
I want you to give a shout out to the people in the comments there. Good morning, Maiko. In another life, if Vibhu was 100% an attorney, Mercy says. FTO says this guy's an XRP legend. Sway, this is the lit episode, staying strapped. Owl of Athena says, I like how Solana engages with communities from other chains. That is not always organic, right? Sometimes it's friendly banter. I think that's a good point. Like, and that's Web3 marketing, and that's all right. It's not trying to be pre-planned. And something that you said in the past is like, you know, you need to be kind of very what's the word, like flexible, right? It's hard to plan ahead months in advance, right? Otherwise you miss opportunities because you bogged down by context maybe, and like, you know, there's too much going on, right?
Yeah, I mean, specifically here, we like we kind of like have two different people. That one is, and this we're not the only people that do this, but I saw the Notion CMO talking about this. You have your reactive, in the trenches, day-to-day person who needs to understand everything that's happening on the internet, be, you know, what's the phrase, like terminally online, and, you know, looking for those opportunities that are like exceptional to drive attention. And then you have long form narrative, like longer term projects, bigger videos, threads, things like that, the bigger content. And it's hard for like the same person to do both of those. Because if you're turning online, you can't do anything else. So we kind of structure these a little bit like that. That's Neuron and Laguna, you might know, on the main account, and then for the other accounts, like similar kind of setup.
That's actually really good advice, right? I think for any team struggling out there to be like, how do I kind of, especially also even if you have like I guess if you kind of have a small budget, right? It's like, you know, okay, how do I find two people that can kind of do this work? But I think there's always a way to find someone who can be more of like a trencher and more of like a planner, right? I think marketing is important. I think teams should definitely not like skimp on it. But I think at the same time, if you're like a small team, right, you can probably find some people that can kind of take both roles who maybe aren't necessarily marketers. There's so much information online. It's like you can really learn a lot from other teams, right, doing this.
Yeah, I think it's marketing is a hits-driven business, so I don't think of this stuff as like maintenance mode. It's I think there are some, like I've seen some foundations, they have like a reply guy, and then they have like someone that runs the main account. I don't necessarily like that. I think the goal is like to you know, find an interesting angle that could go viral and could you know, draw a lot of attention. You can't always find those moments. It's not like that, but like that's the goal of both of those. Like we you know, like, and we do this really well. I think like we somehow find a way to frame something or say something interesting that takes us out of the Solana bubble and into other places. That's the only way to grow. But it's not a scientific thing. I think we're kind of like, we have a framework for how we think about it, but you just keep trying stuff, and then every once in a while something works and you're happy.
I got one more question, then I'll pass it over to Chris or Godo, because I know they've got some stuff they want to ask as well. But in reply to that, what is your feeling on like how AI is going to affect the kind of you know, marketing space, right? Because I think what we're seeing a lot of is people just copying other skills and prompts and and it almost starts to become a game of just my Claude bot creating marketing content, putting out a prompt that other people use for their Claude bot, and then it just becomes like this. Like, at what point does it become like, in a way, it almost isn't as much humans as making like the content themselves or thinking out of the box. They're kind of like following trends and then having their AIs kind of push those trends and push content. So what does that look like over the next, I don't know, 6 to 12 months in your opinion? Like, do we get to a stage where it just becomes like, it's just AI marketing to AI, and that's what's creating these viral moments, as opposed to like humans actually coming up with stuff?
Gosh, I hope not. Yeah, I have like every day someone sends me like a tweet about how like Claude or whatever like has one marketing person, or there's like an AI CMO. Like I don't know, like there was one the other day and I got like 50 texts about it from people. I'm like, what are you trying to say, bro? Like, are you just
want, it's better than me?
You want to replace me? I get it. Like, you know, try it out, you know? No, I don't know. Like, I think the art of, again, like because marketing is a hits driven business, like the art of marketing is is being unexpected and doing things that people that are not the average of all the things that are happening on the internet. And I think like AI is really good for the average, but it's not good for the exceptional yet. But obviously it's a really important tool. I mean, everyone here is using it in different ways, like, for copy editing or planning or structure and things like that, fact checking. But like, I wouldn't say that, on the product side, we're very AI forward. I think on the marketing side, most of us are not heavily using it for creative work. Maybe we should, but to me, it doesn't answer the question that we are asking for this. Like, it's very much a human thing to like evaluate which teams should be staged for which accounts, and to find those like disruptive moments. Like, I can't think of, I mean, sometimes the creative is AI generated, like some silly meme or something that's got replaces someone's face with Totally, or I mean, that stuff's fun, but like I personally don't think in 12 months like it's going to make a huge impact on the work of the marketing team. I'll let you know if you find something. I mean, feel free to send it to me, but like I'm pretty skeptical. Yeah.
I think there's a specific group of people that will use this, and it'll be obvious in their marketing, and you'll be like, that's, you can see it already, right? It's more of a quantity tool. It's more of a quantity tool than a quality tool, right? Okay, when you need to fill gaps, AI can help with that. But when you need like a quality piece of content or campaign, that's
one place it's helping. Is the new tokens account is a combination of AI and humans, but the AI is filtering the news and identifying. Like, we built an app internally for like scanning the set of assets that we cover, like gold and Bitcoin and oil and stuff like that, and then looking for aberrations in what's happening on chain. Like, I mean, this is like simply to like generate a tweet like, gold is up 200% in the last 2 days or whatever, or oil's trading volume hit a new all-time high and so on. Like, it is looking for those like outlier stories. But even then, like, you still need to think about how you're it's not like, I'm not like hooking that up to X. There's still someone, a human in the loop, evaluating and then potentially reframing and making sure it kind of makes sense. Yeah.
Well, I'm happy that they've made a good point of that at X, to be like, hey, if you're posting with a bot, like, we're going to ban you, so that that doesn't become as much of an issue. But the X API, and for anyone out there listening as well, like, if you're able to afford it, it's relatively, not expensive if you use it well. But the X API can work really well if you build like a bot setup to pull information. Or like, basically what Vibhu is saying is, like, you can cross-reference or create lists with @, and you can actually pull that data from those accounts. Like, hey, what has been posted in the last 7 days? Especially if you want to do like comparisons between companies and their Twitters to find content. Like, you could put your competitors in a list. Like, this is some of the ways we've been thinking about it and using it, right? Like, put them in a list, be like, pull the best posts from each of these competitors of the last 7 days that applies to us. And then how can we maybe create a piece of content that works well, or whatever. You can pull ideas that way, and maybe kind of like, just get that data without having to now go through all these accounts and pull specific stuff. But yeah, pulling information from across Twitter with the API is incredible. Honestly, it's been a godsend. But yeah, Chris, Gatto, anything? Chris, I know you have some questions from your side.
Is Gatto not AI? Because this guy's replying like I've never seen before. Is this not AI? I was surprised that you were even here. Like, I didn't know you were a real person until today.
That just means the motion's strong, dude.
Yeah,
the Gatto agent.
Thank you, awesome. Vibhu, for a beautiful clippable moment there. I definitely, Gatto, you're gonna have to repost this one. That's brilliant. Gatto the AI. Oh my goodness. Okay. So if it's cool with you, Vibhu, I want to pivot a little bit and ask you a little bit more about yourself, because we've been talking a lot about your kind of role at the Solana Foundation, but I want to hear a little bit more about you and your journey into crypto, kind of where you started and what brought you into crypto in the first place.
Okay. So I was running a retail chain called Beta for many years, and at the end of its life, I received a contact from folks at the Solana Foundation who said they were exploring like physical ways to physically activate. This was in the 2021 kind of bull market, and so we ended up working together to create Solana Spaces, which was like at the time like a retail concept for Solana. That was kind of like my expertise, was building stores and software to complement them. And yeah, it was like kind of I was toying around with Ethereum stuff just in my spare time, but I wasn't working in the industry. And yes, that was I kind of had an unusual start. But in the process of building Spaces, I got to meet a lot of the community, and I really fell in love with the mission and everyone that was around, and wanted to keep building in the space. We ended up creating a side project called Drip that turned out to went pretty well, and especially pre-meme coins was taking a lot of attention and grew pretty fast. And last year, Jupiter acquired Drip, and I joined the Solana Foundation shortly after. But I've been now here for 5 years, kind of with a whole bunch of different hats.
Awesome. And so Solana Spaces is obviously still kind of alive and kicking now. They're obviously doing more pop-ups and stuff.
Yeah.
What's the kind of story with Solana Spaces now? Who's running the show there? Are you involved at all, or are you completely out of that now?
Yeah. So a group of guys came last year, Lothar and JW and Wool, and they said, hey, we want to bring back a store concept. And I thought it was interesting. So I helped the team in the early days, helped provide some funding. And then I'm not at all involved in any of the execution. They've done an awesome job. They don't need me. But I've been, we still stay in contact, they're friends, and
awesome.
I've known them for a long time. They've been doing more than just stores. They're doing merch. They're doing pop-ups and event activations. And I don't know, I'm really proud of the work that they've done in the last year.
Super good guys. I gotta give them a shout out. And Johnny's an absolute homie, and me and Amol, he lives here in Houston, so we go cycling sometimes together. So yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah, no, they've done an excellent job. I mean, I got this beautiful Solana cap at Breakpoint in Abu Dhabi in December last year, and the store was amazing. I mean, they had crazy stuff. Klanos, Pudgy Penguins, Aura. Geez, there was obviously Solana brand, tons of Solana branded merch. So yeah, I think they've done a really cool job, and obviously you should be proud to have started something that's kind of lived on. I think it's done really well.
Yeah. No, it's cool to see, for sure. Definitely proud. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, next question for you. Obviously now you are full-time at the Solana Foundation. What does a typical day look like for you as the CPO? Wake up, get out of bed, have a coffee, and then get straight to work, hit the gym. Give me an idea of what your kind of day looks like.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm lucky, it kind of works like that. A lot. I mean, breakfast and coffee for sure. It's pretty nothing unusual about that. But I'm pretty much start working right away. If I look at my phone, it's over. So crypto is very global. So being here in the US, it's during the day it's the US people, and then you wake up in the morning and it's all the folks in Asia and whatnot hitting you up. So yeah, my days are very structured in terms of format, but unstructured in terms of what I'm actually working on. The context switching is very extreme for me. It's because there's a lot of work that's with ecosystem. There's a lot of new people who are exploring Solana, looking for advice. There's founders who need emotional support sometimes. I don't know, serving wearing a lot of different hats. And
I love. Yeah, I laugh, but it's true.
It's totally in place.
And then there's like all the recurring, different things. Like I'm involved in like all the business of the foundation basically. So I kind of get to see a lot of stuff and add my thoughts and try to add product or marketing support there. I'm like pretty much work all day. If I'm lucky, I get to work out in the afternoon, dinner, put the kids to bed, and then work until like 1 a.m. most days, I'd say.
Oof.
Yeah.
Absolutely cooking.
That sounds rough.
It's quite rough. I will.
It's a privilege. Like it's an honor to work at the Solana Foundation. So
yeah. Vibhu's built for it. You've been doing that for basically years already. This absolute startup beast at this point,
unfortunately, I'm like completely fully addicted to work. I'm a workaholic. I've been a workaholic since I was 13 years old. It is what
Vibhu started in the mines,
it's too late for me to change. Yeah. But people who know me, they know I'm like really responsive. I'm pretty much always there for people. It'd be nice to get a break sometimes, but yeah, we have a lot to do, man. I really feel for sure. I really feel like Solana is the one, and
for sure.
And I have such a privileged view on what's happening that it would be a huge mistake for me not to give as much as possible to get to where we need to be. So you with that framing in mind, it's impossible to really feel bad about anything that's in the day-to-day. There's a lot more for us to do.
There's actually a good question from Al Athena that I think ties into this a bit. They say, where do you think the next wave of users will come from to Solana and in blockchain in general?
Good question.
Well, I have a lot of different thoughts here. I don't think there's a single answer. Foundation is unique in that it doesn't it's just not like we you've seen Lily tweet about this. We aren't focused startup builders. We're economy builders, and therefore and we think Solana is not playing for a niche of the market. We think Solana is playing for the majority of the crypto market. And so when that's in mind, everything that touches money is kind of fair game for us, and we're activating initiatives and marketing and BD and product across all these different categories all at the same time. It's not a focused thing. Realistically, stable coins are still driving a lot of crypto adoption right now, and Solana has been really successful at onboarding neobanks.
Definitely.
And the world's top neobanks, Europe, Asia, US, support Solana, support SPL tokens, and stablecoins are kind of like a gateway drug to other things that are happening on chain. So you start there, then you start wanting to think about yield for your users, then you want to start thinking about maybe other assets, trading, prediction markets, and so on. So I would say neobanks is the evergreen, really big channel that's just bringing a lot, just getting a lot of Solana wallets in people's hands. From an on-chain perspective, I think these users are not necessarily even aware of how this stuff works. They're not like you and me using DeFi and stuff, right? They have Solana wallets, but they're kind of disconnected from the rest of what's happening. On the on-chain side, I guess the first thought I had was it's not going to be humans. It's probably going to be AI. And we're very focused on making sure that Solana is the preferred network for agents and the thing that agents want to use. You guys probably been following on with OpenClaw and stuff like this. These are pretty amazing, very unique story. The OpenClaw repo, I think, is more starred than some of the biggest pieces of infrastructure on the web now. I went to an OpenClaw meetup last week, and the line was all around the block. And there's so many people excited about this, not in crypto, but just in general.
Yeah.
So yeah, next set of users might not be humans. And then yeah, I don't know. Like our like consumer apps continue to make progress. I think Phantom, for example, if you like stack Phantom against the world's like biggest consumer financial apps, like it's right up there. It's like in the like top 10, top 15. So our native homegrown products and companies are like continuously expanding the market for Solana, and I don't know, it's pretty cool.
That's a great answer. I mean, I think it is a very unique point in the ecosystem's like development, right? Like it's gone from having quite a lot of hardship to becoming a really serious place. I mean, I wonder if there's like, I think, some of us reminisce a little bit about like the past, right? Like obviously it was crazy 3 years ago or whatever. It was insane. Do you feel like there is a little bit more of a focus? Or I wouldn't say that this may be a little bit more obvious, but has the foundation really taken more of a focus on kind of like products that are in this new Web 2 realm or pushing like this banking system? Do you feel like do you think that for newer teams coming to the space that are maybe kind of like pushing new weird ideas, obviously 3 years ago, there was a lot more room to kind of support that. Now it's a little bit harder. Like you guys have to be a little bit more specific with how you can support people. Not that you aren't supporting everyone you can, but I'm sure that that's quite a tough angle to deal with, right? Because this chain has grown, so much.
Yeah. I would say we're focused on the things that we can actually make meaningful progress on. Like like meme coins, for example, like despite the memes on Twitter, like Solana Foundation, not only were we not like supporting what was happening there. I mean, we weren't not supporting it. It wasn't like something that we had an influence on. Like it wasn't something that there was nothing we could have done to like make that happen. Like, so I think a lot of the on-chain stuff is more organic. And if we try to insert ourselves to having that process, we are not really doing anything because the market like wants what it wants, and we're not any better at like coming up with ideas than anybody else. I think on the financial enablement side for banks, TradFi, for stocks, assets, things like that, like it's easier for us to have an influence because you have already an existing business, or there's already product market fit, there's already something happening, and they're making an infrastructure decision, and they're evaluating many different options, and here what we do actually matters. So it's not that like it's not one or the other. It's just like the foundation wants to work on things that it can impact, and that's not all possible things. So
no, I mean that makes total sense. I mean, I think it's kind of like at this stage, like we're saying, Solana is so at the end of the day, if it's able to bring in these banks and these kind of more financial institutions, or that also spreads across, that gives it a lot more validity for people as well. They don't just go, oh, this is the meme coin chain. Unfortunately, that's obviously a bad stereotype that was created. But it's like, well, these guys are working with these. It's like you think of XRP, right? I'm bringing XRP, but it's like the reason why it does so well in the kind of like general like crypto market across like more, I would say maybe normies or the layman who isn't as deep as we are, is that they work with banks and it's cross-border payments, and they want an XRP case. They want like a securities case. That to people goes like, oh, well, that seems super legit, right? That's why XRP has done so well, right? Solana is obviously a much more kind of like broad blockchain. There's so much more it can do. And obviously that like marketing or the self-marketing from just events that happen on the chain obviously affected. But I'm not saying that this is your guys' thing is like we need to, do this to make, but I think just in association with that becoming more of a serious asset in that sense, it creates more trust across the entirety of Solana for new people, entrants coming in. It doesn't feel as risky, I guess.
I wouldn't, I guess I would push back a little bit because I do think that happens. I wouldn't say that like that's like the explicit goal. Mm-hmm. We want to have everyone in the world should have a Solana wallet.
Yeah.
But the fact is that like not everyone in the world is going to want the things that exist on chain today. Not everyone is a trader. Not everyone wants to bet on sports. Not everyone wants to, earn yield. A lot of people live paycheck to paycheck. They don't even have the opportunity to do that. So like, I think we're like if the market is all humans, let's get a Solana wall in everyone's hands and make sure we serve them the way that they want to be served. That like at finality is going to look different than I think what crypto degens think it's going to look like. That's just a fact. And we're like, I mean, is it quite remarkable in 6 years of Solana since mainnet? Like, there's like an outrageous number of like people that have Solana wallets and maybe don't even know it, and are like constituents of our network in a way. And I think the next story is still yet to be written there. Okay, like we've enabled all this infrastructure. Will people start to realize that they own this money and there's more you can do? What else? What other bet would you want to take? Like, that has to be the bet, because if that doesn't, if people don't want that stuff, it kind of doesn't matter anyway. Like, but we should at least try. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's a great point. Like, it's interesting because we obviously know how much you can do here. Like, shout out to Soulflare, right? Like, their wallet as well. Like, you can do all this amazing stuff in it. You can actually see the money physically leave your wallet as you spend on your card, your stables, that kind of stuff. It's like, you just think about 3 years ago, we had basically no crypto cards. Now there's like 6, there's Fuse, there's Cast, there's a Soulflare, there's, whatever else. And it all works seamlessly. What Avicii?
There's one called Avicii.
Oh wow, that's crazy. But it's pretty remarkable just how much more accessible it is financially for people. Like, I have tried to. It's still a little bit hard to onboard people. I think like older people, right? At the end of the day, I think it's the youth that are going to be the ones that take this and run with it, right? It's much easier for them to understand how this stuff works and utilize it. So,
I mean, it's still too hard to ramp. It's still too hard to on ramp and off ramp. Like,
well, Fuse is great, dude. Like Fuse wallet is amazing. Like, I'm a huge proponent. Like,
really good
supporter of them
for sure.
Yeah.
But like, we need to live natively where people are already moving their money around. Like, I don't know if you caught this news maybe a month ago, but SoFi, which is one of the largest neobanks in the US, they were the first regulated bank in the US to ship to like allow users to buy, Sol, or deposit crypto directly in the same interface as from their bank account, with no additional KYC, no exchange, deposit and withdraw. These are like very meaningful. Like, this tells you how early it is, though, because it's literally the first bank to do this in the world's biggest financial market. This is going to come to every bank. This is going to come to Chase. This is going to come to Wells Fargo. Like, and this is just step one, right? Like, first, like, okay, let's merge the infrastructure of crypto and banking, put them in the same interface. But now take this. I mean, these guys move slow. Okay, let's be fair. But like, take this logically forward 3, 5, 10 years. Well, guess what? I have. Our users have Sol, and we're a bank, and they want yield on that. So, hey, can you help us figure out how to get yield for our users, right? So it really is. I hate the meme of it's early, but like,
it is
like, this, like, the last year is like the first year that like most of this stuff was even like allowed.
Well, even think about, like, America was so against crypto not that long ago. Like, I remember 2 years ago, or whatever, however long ago, thinking like, fuck, do I need to like move out of the country because they're just going to keep pushing on it? Elizabeth Warren, you fucker, dude. Or whatever her name is. What's her name? The woman, whoever, the Democrat or whatever. But still, like, that shit was scary. I think a lot of people were just, I remember there's moments like people being like, well, do I have to move to Singapore or like Dubai? Like, and now it's like you just said, like, we've got SoFi, like a bank that they take ages to do this stuff. And we're seeing it, now we see Solana, like, added with Bitcoin and ETH on like whatever CNN or whatever the news shows. It just, it's a world of difference within such a short period of time. Yeah. So where are we going to be in the next 3 years?
Because you see one, and then their competitors are like, oh, wait a second. Like, are we behind here? What should we be doing? The TradFi pipeline for Solana is extraordinarily strong people are going to be blown away by like all the credit of the last cycle, 2 years, still hasn't been paid off because of how slow these things move. You've just seen hints. You've seen Western Union, you've seen Visa, you've seen Citibank, JP Morgan bulling on Solana. But like there's a lot more to come there.
And they were super against it. Like the CEO of JP Morgan, he was like vehemently against crypto and blockchain and like Bitcoin and stuff like that. And now, as you say, they're working with I mean, it's just the narrative has shifted. It's like that's that turning point, right? Where it goes from, no, this is a joke, like I'm not going to touch this. Now that these guys are starting to use it, the thing that's kind of interesting is like, okay, well, how are they going to build their positions in it now, since they're starting to take it, like they're starting to get into it, and how does that affect the market long term, right? Like something I've thought about is that the market's always been very manipulated, right? Like crypto markets have always been manipulated for a long time, right? China bans crypto, they unban it, shit pumps. Someone else does this, some whale, there's cascading liquidations because they want to, get people out of their positions, whatever. Like, how is this going to look now with a lot more kind of government money, institutional money? Do you think that we're going to see, it feels like we're going to see a lot less violent upswings as we have already, and it's going to start to kind of even out a little bit, maybe slower growth? What have you thought about this? What's your kind of opinion on this?
Have I thought about it? Not really, but I guess I would, based on what you said, I would have taken the opposite conclusion, which is like that like there'll be even more volatility because
they can just sell
like
big.
I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but like certainly like there are certain people who can speak on a topic and move markets, and these folks also happen to have like very large financial means. So like crypto is still very low liquidity overall. And when, like a single like major GSIB bank participating in crypto can still have like a huge impact on the overall liquidity and really move the market. So yeah, I don't think, and then I think with perps as well, I just think we're like entering a period of history financially that will just look very different because so much liquidity is now aggregating into derivatives on these things, and they're all trading. The oracles are all the spot prices, but there's less liquidity in the spot markets. So I think I think crypto is a preview of like how all markets are basically going to look in a couple of years. So no, I don't expect it to be less volatile.
Yeah, we are kind of in a very gambling-esque. I mean, not saying that crypto is gambling, but let's be honest, leverage basically is in a sense. But I mean, I guess that's kind of like, do financial markets move more aggressively in that sense? Because now there is more money. There's so much more upside, but there's also so much more downside. And the kind of mentality of people just in general, right? Like everything's kind of a little bit gambling orientated. There's blind boxes, there's sports betting, there's prediction markets. It's kind of almost training everyone to be a little bit more like, well, I can get rich quick, or there's these, I don't know, like it does kind of feel a bit scary in a sense as well. Like, I don't know, obviously there's benefit to be had from it, but for the larger population and the larger kind of world, it's like, how does that affect it? How does that kind of like move the,
I just happen to see this as a good
wealth
thing.
Of people.
I think like what's happening, and I'm stealing this from Akshay, but this idea, but like, the past version of financial markets was very passive because people were just told over the last couple of decades, just put your money in the stock market and it will go up. And what that really looks like is like jamming it into an ETF or an index fund, some really safe mechanism that just tracks the entire market. And it doesn't matter what assets are there. It's just kind of like, long on everything, was like the way people have been investing. And this is bad because in the index, there's a lot of companies that don't deserve that. Like there's a lot of things that are overvalued or undervalued within that. And I think what we're betting on is that you're going to have much more active investors in the future. People who actually care what their money is being put into, and therefore like there's more agency, and the right things will get the proceeds versus just kind of a slice of everything. So yeah, I don't like yes, you're right. It is like there's like overall more volatility. It feels like there's gambling, but the structure of that is really good for humanity because we shouldn't fund weak companies. We should fund strong companies that are doing good for the world, and that starts with like individual investors caring about the things that they're investing in.
Yeah, I'll pass it off to Chris and Goddard after this. But one thing that I love, which is actually just insane, is the fact that these little things have done better than like the S&P 500 over a 4-year period. Like this is a Evolving Skies booster box. It's in 4 years. This thing's gone from $130. Oh, you got some shit. You got some. Hey, is there some One Piece? Is there some One Piece in there?
No, I only have basketball cards.
Oh, come on.
Hey, that's dope.
That's sick.
Little PSA 7, clean.
Bill Russell.
Oh, that's cool.
Where's my Gem Mints? Anthony Edwards.
Oh, that's sick.
Nice.
It's kind of hard to see on here, but
that's clean. Well, I mean, just the fact that you even have like, it's insane that these little things, these. Oh, wait, he's got another one.
No. Putting it away.
The fact that these little things, and I think this is like, it's such an interesting way to also view how the market's changing, right? It's like for people, there's an emotional attachment to this stuff. There's value in that emotion. Buying a stock, there's no emotional attachment. Obviously, right? For most people that didn't have access to these stocks or people didn't understand them, right? So it's like, oh, sweet little mini Vibhu. He's gonna go out for a jam.
It's just completely unaware of what's going on around.
But it's so amazing to me that's legitimately kind of like these markets, the amount of money that moves in these markets, like these TCGs, these playing cards. Like you go to a show and there is so much liquidity. There's money moving hands, and it's like this stuff is not going to just die overnight. It has cycles like any kind of stock market or any kind of asset. But it's amazing how almost that is creating more education for younger people to get into these markets and understand these markets. Because now instead of you buying stocks and trading that, you're trading these cards, you're trading this and this and that. So we know Vibhu's still there. He's just dealing with the little one. But yeah, that's honestly been that to me has honestly been such a crazy thing to look at. But yeah, anyway.
That's good, right? Like it's kind of like kind of zero sum plus inflation. Like if you're buying Pokemon cards, you aren't buying something else. And so this is activist investing. Like this is what people 20 years ago didn't really weren't thinking about. They're just putting the money into their IRA or whatever it was and just letting it accrue value, but very slowly and with no discretion for what's inside. So I don't know. It all makes sense to me, I guess, like in my theory of everything. Like, cool, people buying Pokemon cards, that's great. People buying basketball cards, that's awesome. Like, but it has, you asked about volatility, like it does all add up. Like there's, liquidity is being distributed differently than it was in the past. And cool, that's great.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think it's awesome. I think it's great. It's hilarious to see people like Kevin O'Leary saying they're putting 10% of their portfolio into like collectibles because it's fun. It's fun to collect that shit. Like no one goes around for the most part, right? Generally going around saying, check out all my stocks, dude. Obviously a very small portion of people are doing that, right? But it's like, this obviously, adds a bit more fun to it and everything. But Chris, Goddard, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I want to
Goddard, you go ahead first.
A little bit. Yeah, thank you, sir. Obviously you guys just released tokens, which I think is awesome. And it has me wondering, and I'm sure you probably can't say, but what are the next products that the Solana Foundation is looking at? And then the other thing is watching the timeline after that release was incredible, and your responses are hilarious. But for you, what is your response to ecosystem native apps that are feeling like they're being rivaled by what the foundation is building product wise?
I think that I've given 2 interviews on this, so my answer is starting to feel more prepared, and I'm sorry about that. But like the unfiltered thing here, I guess, would be like one, like do your own research and don't just read what's on Twitter, because these things like have a way of, I feel like the narrative around this was like so far ahead of the reality, and people weren't doing like, I had someone yesterday who was like, wrote a whole thread about it, and then I responded and they went and they're like, oh, I just went to the site and it's like not what I was expecting. I was like, well, bro, like DYOR, like what do you like? But this is what we do, right? Like we just like, okay, here's the current topic du jour, and I've seen the opinions on it, and I'm responding to the opinions, and it all becomes kind of derivative of the source. Like Foundation unequivocally has no interest in competing with anything in the ecosystem. That would be very bad. Like Solana Foundation is excruciatingly long soul, and we value the ecosystem is the strong part. Like it's the differentiator of Solana. Like, and the fact that every single thing in Solana, like at the smallest level, is like highly competitive, is a beautiful structure to preserve. It's like the perfect union of Solana. So we're mindful of like, and I was an ecosystem member too. I know I'm at the foundation, but I think of myself as an ecosystem founder coming into the foundation to fuck shit up and like represent the ecosystem as best I can with the resources of the foundation. We don't want to touch that structure. At the same time, if there's opportunities for us to build, like I think it kind of makes sense in 2026 to reconsider how we might have done this in the past, because the foundation does have a lot of ideas and does have a unique perspective on what the market might want, especially for people that are not currently in Solana. So the way this worked in the past was maybe like an RFP process, right? Like a government bureau would create a document, send it out to a bunch of parties, have them compete to provide that thing at the lowest costs, or the best best service plus the cost basis. Like 2026, we have to move faster, because our competitors, to be honest, don't look like they did 5 years ago. We're not competing with foundations like Ethereum. Okay, like we're competing with vertically integrated like corpo chains like Tempo, like Arc, Hyperliquid, basically product-oriented teams, Base, BNB, centralized owners, centralized sequencers. The competitive stuff's different. And I'm not suggesting, by the way, that we're like trying to model them. We're trying to be faster. Like we need to be faster, because that approach is fast, like to be honest. So, cool. We have ideas. We have engineers. We all have a Cloud Code instance running on our terminal. Like it just makes sense for us to say, cool, we can cut 6 months by just building this thing and seeing if it works, and putting it out in the world. So I think it's, like, one, we never build something that already exists that serves the ecosystem. It's all about distribution. It's all about people from outside. And then two, we just want to be fast and bring things to market. And oftentimes, honestly, like in the old model, we have an idea and we RFP it out, and then by the time it even comes out, it's not relevant anymore, because things in the ecosystem move so fast. So I don't like preview wise. Like we're very focused on APIs, I would say. When institutions are evaluating Solana relative to other chains, Solana feels very hard to navigate, and it has a lot of gotchas, and you need a lot of tribal knowledge. I mean, if you just want to figure out how to offer gold to your customers on chain, that's really difficult today. Like it requires a lot of knowledge, and it shouldn't. So a lot of the work we're doing is like just trying to package Solana infrastructure into like ways that are easy for institutional partners to digest, And then tokens we wanted to run a breaking news account like Polymarket. It's been the single like most disruptive marketing tactic in crypto in the last 5 years, and we felt like we could build an account that did something similar and was relevant to people outside of crypto. Tokens is not for you guys. Like it isn't for, like you wouldn't use this because you already know how to buy tokens. You already know about Aura Gold, and you already know about Tesla X. Like you're just not the audience for it, you know? And so like by default, it just really can't be competitive because there's nothing else like that in the ecosystem. And again, we would have normally just maybe outsourced this, but we have a really capable team and we want to get these things to market as fast as possible. And we're all on the same team, by the way. We all want, hopefully we want Solana to grow. We want Sol to go up. So cool. Like as long as you know that, you can trust that like we're going to do our best, make mistakes, but like we're going to do our best to do what we think is best for all of us, you know. And if we trip up, cool, let us know, because the feedback is intense. Like everyone's got something to say, you know, and we love that. That's great. But like, give us a little bit of grace that we really care about Solana and what happens, and really care about Sol, and we don't want to put our hand on what's already a good thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great answer.
Excellent monologue.
Thank you. All right, where's my Oscar?
Excellent. Yeah, you deserve one after that, man. That was fantastic. Inspirational for sure.
To be honest, I messed up, because when I first posted about this, I made the mistake of explaining the product backwards. I got to the conclusion, which was, hey, we want to run a breaking news account. I should have put it at the front, because the account is the main thing. We wouldn't have built this product and put it out if we didn't have the account. It was like, it's all about that. Like that's where all these things came from. And there isn't like, this doesn't exist in Solana. And we're definitely the best people to do this because it's expensive, doesn't produce any revenue. And we're really good at Twitter. So it just kind of made sense. Yeah.
I just want to quickly add. So what is the drama about, right? Because I'm looking at the token site and it's basically just tokens, just showing you what tokens are available on Solana. And that is expensive because the API costs of that, like running that and putting all that data is expensive.
Forget the site. I don't want you to start the app, because no one needs to go to the token site right now. Go to the tokens account. I don't know if you can pull it up on the screen here.
I can.
And you can see what we're doing with it. I mean, like, it's better to show.tell. Scroll down. Like this is the point. Like, we have a safe place to talk about Hyperliquid on Solana now. And you can see that these, for example, so tokens is not a destination. It's something that you'll discover through the tweets themselves. This is the big bet here. Yeah, I don't know. I think if people had seen this, maybe it wouldn't have felt so threatening, because this is quite unique for our ecosystem. It's not unique in general in marketing today, but it is for Solana.
Yeah, I mean, this is great. It's just keeping up with token prices and announcements, and I think it's also nice because, like you said, like you can talk about Hyperliquid on here. Like you guys aren't going to do that on the main Solana account, but at the end of the day, it's who cares if it's a competing product. It's still news, right? And you guys want to provide a place for news. Last thing I'll ask is, there is an assets API. I love that there's an API coming. Like you said, APIs are the future of everything, I feel like.
So now if you want to click over to the site, I'll show you.
Oh, okay. Let me quickly do that now. Add to stage, go to site. There we go.
So go to gold at the top of the list here. Now this is unique. One, because it's doesn't let you trade on the interface, and every other token site lets you trade here. But also because what we're showing here isn't a specific token. This is gold across all of the variants. So if you hover over the variants at the top there, underneath the ticker, you can see that this is tracking a set of tokens that aggregate under what we consider to be gold.
Epic.
And the API that we're providing just provides the data that constructs this page so that you can build your own version of this. So I was speaking earlier about how like knowing how to buy gold on chain if you're coming from outside is not trivial. This API will help people build experiences that abstract away the tokens in favor of the asset that you're trying to get.
Shout out to Oro here. Absolutely cooking. Love the Oro guys. Big supporter there. Nice. Built on Solana product. Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's a nice way to just kind of get like a, I mean, this makes total sense for someone who's like, even as someone who is in the know, like this is really nice to be like, hey, I actually kind of want to look at some tokens that I may, because I know for me personally, right, we're doing so much stuff within the company, right? Like we have our delegation, we have Phase Stake, we have Netrunner, right? It gets kind of overwhelming and you don't always have time to kind of like spend time looking across the ecosystem, what's happening. This is a nice place to go be like, hey, listen, I got a little bit of extra cash. I want to kind of invest maybe in something. Here's a one-stop shop that I can kind of get an idea also across the ecosystem of stuff that I want to get in, I want to, invest in, right?
Yeah.
So I think it also applies to people that aren't necessarily just super, who are maybe just so focused on building that they don't have a lot of time to kind of look what's happening on Solana token wise. So I think it's still useful for even heavy crypto native people. But yeah. Chris, I don't know, there's something else.
I just realized that it's 12:15 and I'm unfortunately running 15 minutes late for something else. Is it okay for us to end it here? Okay.
No, that's perfect. We did end a bit late, but thanks, dude. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Vibhu.
It was honestly a blast.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, hopefully we'll see you around soon. Enjoy the meeting, and we're gonna stay on for a little bit, talk about some stuff after you leave. But thanks, dude. Appreciate your time.
All right.
Cheers, Vibhu. Thanks, man.
Cheers, man. Take care.
Awesome.
Oh,
all right. So, you're a bot. Maybe he was talking about Daps, got it? Because Daps is the reply machine,
No,
but that's hilarious.
I think he was talking about my account specifically. But that, you know what? That just shows, dude. You got to be replying, dude, to get noticed. Bot or not.
Get your face out there, Goto. You got to start posting content of your face. So
I've got
know that you're a real person.
Video, like I've got some like IRL video content and stuff like that on my page. But
yeah. Otherwise, he's just a penguin to everyone.
Exactly. Big shout out to everyone who joined us today.
Yeah, literally.
Thank you so much to everyone who joined today. Really, really appreciate it. It was a great show. Really, really cool having Vibhu on. I know that Seba has got some exciting stuff that he wants to chat about. So yeah, without further ado.
So I'm just going to throw this up here. You guys may have seen a little bit on the timeline about something, but basically on March 31st, we're going to be doing something really cool as Netrunner for our Netrunner product, our tax tool, with our friends over at Soulflare. We're working with them on this. Shout out to Maurice and to Quicks. But this is going to be huge. March 31st, we're having an 8-hour long streamathon. We're going to be releasing more information about this, but long story short, let's just say it's going to be one of the most interesting live streams you've ever seen on Solana. We have someone running an ultra marathon while we interview some incredible teams in the space. We have some phenomenal sponsors that are joining us for this. We're going to be donating to 2 charities. Well, one's a traditional charity, which is Kids Can in New Zealand, and the other is basically like a legislative organization named Stand With Crypto. And it's going to be a lot of fun, right? We're going to release a kind of a full site as well with all the kind of information. But if you do go to beyondspeculation.com, you can get access to this page. You can see the countdown here. It's going to be awesome. So keep your eyes and your ears peeled. Really, really have some incredible people on board for this. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be filming it out of the Skyline, the Solana Skyline offices in New York, live there. Me and Maurice will be there, chatting it up, vibing with the guests. We're going to have some in-stream guests as well that are actually going to be with us live in the studio, as well as bringing some people, off of stream as well to come chat. And we're going to have some fun segments. We have people like Collect Crypt involved, so you can imagine what we're going to do there, as well as others. So it's going to be awesome. Keep your eyes peeled. You can head to the site Beyond Speculation to keep track of the timer, and we'll release an update when we actually have the full website out and available. But yeah, exciting times. we'll talk about this a little bit more next week. Big time. Hey, there's Quicks. Quicks will also be there,
Hey,
helping out.
yo,
Absolute
what's up,
legend.
Quicks?
So yeah, this is gonna be a lot of fun. Shout out to Soulflare again, absolute legends. Appreciate you guys. All right. Other than that, before we leave as well, if you want to get 15% off Netrunner, our Solana tax tool, right, with 100,000 transactions on our base plan, which is pretty insane. We got AI suggestions that have been added now. We have drift perps coming. We have Jupiter perps, flash trade perps. We have basically we have almost every major Solana program, auto labeled by the platform. We also have a free tier, which is 30,000 transactions. So you can test it out and get an idea of your tax implications, right? And you just can't export reports and things like that. So if you go to netrunner.tax, you'll actually get to our page, and you can see the different subscriptions that we have there. Let me actually bring it up quickly so you guys can have a little bit of a look. All right. And here. So if you are watching, you can have a look here. We got all the information you need over here. We got some amazing partners. And you can learn a little bit more about the site, and you can click get started for free to get your account set up. But yeah, tax season is fast approaching, guys. So I would get started earlier than later. You can also head to our Discord as well, or DM our X account at Netrunner Tax, and we'll get to you about any questions that you may have. And yeah, again, last but not least, keep an eye out for this Beyond Speculation stream. It's going to be awesome. 8-hour streamathon. Our CTO Mint running literally for 8 hours, maybe longer, while we interview different products and teams in the ecosystem. There's going to be giveaways, there's going to be prizes. It's going to be awesome. And we're working with some incredible teams, also like Donate.gg and Leap and those guys. So yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Any final words from you two before we close this out?
IBRL.
Oh, as Vibhu likes to say, in business, real life. I didn't get to ask him exactly what he meant by that, but I like that. It's very cool.
Oh, man. Yeah, great stream, guys. Thanks to everyone who tuned in today. Be sure to jump in next week. We've got another great guest joining us, as always. And yeah, celebrating 20 streams today, 20 phase lives. Yeah, it's been a journey. Looking forward to the next 20.
Let's go. Take us out,
guys.
brother.
Take care. Peace.